pag-usapan naman natin tong procedural aspect ng katarungang pambarangay. The katarungang pambarangay process. So, yung proseso daw. So, how is the process in katarungang pambarangay done? So, it says here, assuming the parties are able to reach an amicable settlement of their dispute. The katarungang pambarangay generally follows the following the process or the following process. The KP process, so it should be complaint, not compliant. It should be complaint, and then, or the complainants and the respondents, so they get an agreement. So either through the barangay chairman, because it's the barangay chairman or the punong barangay should handle the case first. Okay, he has 15 days, and if he thinks that it is meritorious to extend for another 15 days, then he can do so. And in case that he was able to bring peace to both parties with some consideration, so they have amicable settlement, then the next step is execution. Now, let's say the punong barangay failed after extending, or even with or without extension for another 15 days. He failed for whatever reason, then he should bring the case to the pangkat. Pangkat consists of 3 members: the chairman or the pangkat chairman, first member or just a member, and the pangkat secretary. Okay, and take note, it is not necessary that the secretary of the barangay should always be as the same person that will act on this setup. Okay, the 3 person here on the pangkat, they should come up with their own, or who will be their secretary on that particular case. So that secretary is the ones who will be doing notation or anything like that, and preparing the minutes of the hearing, and summons, or the first member can also prepare the summons, right? Just simply helping each other out, considering their ages. Now, let's say they come up with agreement, so the execution is the next step. Guys, execution can be done on the 11th day after the 10-day period upon reaching to settlement. That period is called repudiation period. And let's say after the let's say on the within the 10 days, none of the party repudiated the agreement, then it will become binding and executory to both of them with legal effect. So meaning it can be enforced first by the person, okay, who handled the case. Let's say the punong barangay or the pangkat, so they have 6 months from the first day of the kasunduan or the agreement to execute it. Okay, now within the time period, so they should issue notices of hearings or execution, okay, and a motion for execution from the side of the usually the requesting party is the complainant. Now, let's say they failed, the pangkat or the punong barangay failed to enforce their agreement. Then after 6 months, the complainant on the 61st day then may go to the court and submit the take note, guys, within 6 months, I'm just going back to the 6 months time period. After the 11th day of your agreement, okay, take note, this is actually one of the provision in the KP law that's not being followed by many barangays. Okay, you will know later what will be the result by failing this process. Okay, so you need to submit any of the 4. It's either the complainant, respondent, punong barangay, or the pangkat. Okay, must, okay guys, hindi may, must submit, okay, any of them must submit a certified copy of the kasunduan or the settlement. All right, because if your local clerk of court did not receive any, then you'll be in trouble. The court will not going to execute the agreement. The reason behind is lack of compliance. And you know how strict they are, unlike hearings in Lupon. Now, let's say they were able to do that, to settle a dispute, and then one of the party did not comply with. So the complainant may request the local court to execute it. Now, on the side of the pangkat, please guys, you should always remember this. If there is an agreement reached, there is no need to issue a certificate to file action. And do not edit and add words on the format. The format was given and designed by lawyers. And who are we to edit that? We just have to abide what's on that format. Okay? Do not write no compliance. And you're going, because guys, certificate to file action, it means that there was no agreement reached during that 60-day period in the barangay level or during the first 60 days. And then there's a 6 months leeway period for the barangay to execute their kasunduan. Now, if we're going to issue, the purpose of issuing the certificate to file action is simply allowing the other party, usually the complainant, to file a case against the respondent. Okay? That is only when, after all efforts exerted by the pangkat and the disputants, then they failed to come up with an agreement within the turnaround time provided by the KP law, which is 60 days from filing of the complaint directly to the barangay chairman or to the pangkat. If the chairman won't handle the case. Okay, well, if you won't handle any case, then it's okay. It's going to be automatically a failure on his end, and then the case will be automatically forwarded or endorsed to the pangkat. Okay, now, the certificate to file action should not and must not and cannot be, okay, for any reason, be issued to the complainant in case there is a agreement reached. Okay, because if there's an agreement reached, then the next step is execution. And then if the barangay level failed to execute the execution that they successfully delivered, then one of the respondents failed to comply with, then they can have another execution, but this time is through their local courts. Okay, by filing again a motion for execution, a document prepared by a lawyer. Okay, it's a request to the local court or judge to execute what's on the agreement. Okay, what's in the agreement? That's a letra por letra, then that will be executed. Okay, so the judge will going to ask or assign a sheriff that will handle the situation, and also with the assistance of the police and the BPSO of the barangay level. All right. So again, if there is an agreement, if there is agreement reached, there is no need to issue a certificate to file action for any reason, because they already settled their dispute. It's just that one of the party is not meeting with the terms. Okay? The only reason when we are going to issue a certificate to file action is when there is no agreement reached. Then the complainant, or within or prior to 60-day period lapse, then he should get the CFA or the certificate to file action. So he can get a lawyer, that will prepare the case, and then they're going to start from scratch. Okay, then there will be a series of hearings and before the city prosecutor's office or the fiscal, until the case reaches the regional trial court or the sala or judge, whatever. Okay, so always remember, if there is agreement reached, then execution, and then the first execution, the barangay level failed, then the second level of the execution through your local courts, then that's it. Okay, now the question is, how about a CFA? Well, again, no need to issue CFA. CFA can only be issued if there is a failure of reaching agreement within the time frame of 60 days from filing of the complaint before the punong barangay or PPSO, or the especially with the tanggapan of the Lupon Tagapamayapa. All right, so thank you so much, and then we're going to talk about another topic, of course, about the Lupon.